I'm just going to confirm we're back. I think we are. Okay. I got spectrumed.
Yeah,
wow. That's the first time I've been spectrumed. Did I get spectrumed again? Okay,
no,
good.
it's back.
I was checking. I got scared again because like it dropped for me. So yeah, I got spectrum. Cool. Um. Anyway. Um. Oh, that was just the transfer stuff. So, any other thoughts before moving on to the other stuff? This is just like dumb.
Yeah,
Though.
this is dumb. I agree.
Just dumb.
You know, I know they want you to pay for PlayStation Plus, but I feel like they should make an exception in
Right.
this case. Like, okay, for PS4 to PS5 transfers, we'll just let you do it for free.
Yeah. What if Sony? No, Sony doesn't have that kind of power. Sony's just like, hey,
Or
hey, and they press a button and I'm out.
how dare you talk about our crappy cloud save
They're like,
system?
hey. So anyway, okay. Let me go to the next thing. New Nintendo Switch. New Nintendo Switch at some point. Nintendo Switch Super Ultimate Plus Edition, or unofficially Switch Pro.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know what it's going to be called, but people are calling it Switch Pro because that makes sense.
Will reportedly use an upgraded NVIDIA chip, support NVIDIA's DLSS rendering, could be released holiday 2021. Expected price increase of $50 to $100 as a result. Will reportedly also feature a larger screen and 4K output. That seems nice. That seems nice. Yeah, so there's the Switch Pro. The screen's a little bit larger. But the size of it overall appears to be close to the same. Oh yeah, here it is. So 7 inches as opposed screen size 7 inches as opposed to 6.2.
Yeah, it looks like they cut down the border on the around the screen compared to the regular one.
Yeah. I'm not sure how much of an effect this will have in the future. If this really like affects future games, like for example, if I don't get this and future titles on the Switch will just not perform well at all, it's like almost like it's a forced upgrade. I hope that's kind of what I'm alluding to. If that's the case, I'm gonna be mad. I know it won't be because they're smart enough not to do that. But if they do, I'm gonna be mad.
With any of the Pro consoles, it's literally never been a thing.
It's never been a thing. I know, but
where you had to do it. It was always a nice quality of life thing, but you could stick with your base PS4 or base Xbox One, and you were fine.
Right. I know it's never been a problem, but I just want to say on the record, if it is, I'm gonna be mad.
Yeah. Well, yeah, true, because this is the first time Nintendo has done like a mid-gen. Actually, they had a with the 3DS. The 3DS, they did it.
Yeah, they did.
Right?
They do it with the handhelds. They've done it with handhelds.
Yeah, they had the expansion. That's right. They had the expansion pack for the N64, but that you didn't have to buy a new console. It was just like an accessory you plugged in the N64. And they did it. They did have a upgraded 3DS. I cannot remember what it was called right now.
I don't know. All I remember is the DS.
And they had a bunch of extra ones for the DS as well. The XL and
dude, the XL was a monster.
The Lite, the XL.
Oh my god!
So many different versions.
Yeah, the 3DS had like the 2DS, which was
3DS had the 2DS, and there was an actual like upgrade version of 3DS. Again, I do not remember what it was called.
Yeah. But I mean, overall, I think this is generally good if you want a more powerful system. I guess if you have the extra money and just want to get the more powerful system, go for it. The NVIDIA chipset will bring an updated CPU, increased memory, like better looking games and faster processing, which is awesome. Like if you have the expendable cash, go for it, I guess. For me personally, I don't think I'm going to get this unless it's like a really significant upgrade.
Nintendo is not the platform I go to for top of the line graphics and performance. I just like their games. I do not need a souped up Switch. So
yeah,
I probably won't get this either, to be honest. But you know, this has been rumored for quite a while, and to be honest, this is still a rumor. This was not officially announced by Nintendo. This was like I think it was a Bloomberg article that made the rounds. It's a bit of a leak still, but it feels a little more official than the previous leaks. So we'll see. I also heard they're and I mean, Nintendo Direct leaks are kind of crap, but there was apparently a leak going around this week that there was supposed to be a Nintendo Direct in April. I don't remember what it was supposed to cover,
Okay.
but
I'm sure they'll
there
tell
was
us
one
2 days
in April.
before, 1 day
Yeah,
before.
yeah, no, they'll tell us a day or two before. And
Or they'll tell us like 5 minutes before. I'm like, hey, we're gonna have a direct in 5 minutes. Like,
by the way, we're having a Direct right
Nintendo,
now.
just come on, give us like a week. Come on. So, I mean, if you don't have a Switch, like, and this rumor ends up being true, I mean, like, it might be worth just waiting for this to come out, especially if it's holiday 2021. Like, just
Maybe.
wait. Might
But at
just
the
be
same
worth
time,
waiting.
it'll be more expensive than the regular
Yeah,
Switch.
I'm saying in the case where you have the extra money lying around and you just don't have a Switch, maybe you just wait. That's
How
all
much
I'm
does the
about.
Switch cost? Is it 250?
It's like 250, something like that.
Okay, so this will be either 300 or 350
Yeah, yeah,
probably.
yeah. So again, if
Still cheaper than the other consoles, so.
yeah, yeah, okay. Any other things before I move? The last thing I added afterwards. Oh yeah, you can buy Switches right now. I think. Like I've seen,
I
I've
mean,
seen them.
I haven't looked in forever because I've had a Switch for
I
like three or 4 years. So.
no, the you can't buy a PS5 or an Xbox Series X. You can get an Xbox Series S though, pretty easily.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah, that one's been more available
Available.
than any other next gen. I mean, I'm sort of discounting the Switch here, but like the PS5, you can't get unless you can sit around and like click fast and beat the bots and scalpers.
Yep.
You're not getting it. It's. I mean, it sucks. We've talked about it. Okay. Yeah, I'll take over for this one because this stuff it's been happening over the last month. This is specific to Overwatch. I don't want to start at the beginning necessarily. I'll start at where I sort of am right now and where Overwatch is at the moment regarding this issue, and then I'll go back to the beginning. Okay. So Overwatch and Overwatch League, when the past couple of years when the Overwatch League had an MVP, and that MVP had an in-game skin released. So it was, it was a nice little thing for players to get the MVP's skin. I know that there have been a couple so far, and there was one for 2020. There's a skin for 2020, but Blizzard has come out and said that that will be the last one. The 2020 MVP skin will be the last one. They're going to be taken away. And the reason why they're being taken away is it has nothing to do with the game itself. Earlier this month, there was, to say it's drama is putting it gently. One of the league's MVPs, Sinatra, who currently, well, I won't say currently because he's suspended, but was playing Valorant recently. Earlier this month, one of his ex-girlfriends came forward, put out an article regarding sexual misconduct that he directed to her. I'm saying sexual misconduct, that's putting it lightly. I don't know where her article, her like post is. You could probably find it. I'm not going to name drop or anything out of just general respect, but this happened, and she had a long description in her post, and she had some audio. I'm not going to obviously play the audio here because it's not appropriate, but the allegations that were brought against Sinatra were heavy. So Sinatra was suspended from his Valorant team. He was on Sentinels. I think he's just still suspended. And this was a very serious thing. I'll move to this. The whole community regarding Overwatch and Valorant exploded when this happened, particularly on Twitter. And this is the reason why there will be no more MVP skins in Overwatch. Which is, on one hand, I will say it's unfortunate for that community that this one thing happened and Blizzard just said, okay, we're not doing it anymore. It's also kind of indicative of something. Maybe that's not the right way of putting it, but it's a little telling that rather than they did refund people, they said, okay, you can get a refund for for that particular skin that was tied to Sinatra. It's kind of interesting that Blizzard's next response was, well, let's just prevent MVP skins from happening again. That way we won't have this issue happen again. Well, it's like, okay, what are you trying to say? Are you just making some like weird assumption that all these other Overwatch players and potential MVPs are going to have this kind of thing happen, where they're going to have, like, what are you trying to say here? Like, I understand you're trying to prevent something like this happening again, but that also is kind of telling of what you expect from your Overwatch League players. Like, that's, in a weird way, that's also kind of messed up. So this is like, this isn't like necessarily say, oh, you know, just because, like, you know, just because Sinatra did it, you know, not everybody is a piece of shit, right? But it's just weird that Blizzard's response, to me at least, was to go from 0 to 100 immediately and be like, okay, you can get the refund for the Sinatra skin. To me, that makes sense. But to not have the MVP skin anymore because of that, it's a little odd.
Yeah,
Because it's like,
I don't.
you're like saying, oh, well, we you know what? This happened with Sinatra, so we just have to assume this is always going to happen? Like,
Yeah,
is that
it's
what
like
you're trying to say?
you're
Like, I'm
punishing
confused.
the entire community for one person's mistake. And again, I'm sure he's not the only person in the community who is guilty of sexual misconduct, but it's also not everyone either. So I I don't see why you can't just take this particular skin down and refund everybody
Yeah,
the money for that skin, and that's, you're punishing that one player. Instead, you're like, no, we're just not gonna do that. Either that, or they're just using it as a excuse to be lazy and not make new skins. But it's
which
like
is,
they make
yeah.
money off of those skins, so I assume because people have to buy them. So I
Yeah,
don't.
yeah. They use like
Yeah,
tokens. They can use tokens in game. They aren't always paid for tokens. I think they can acquire them
well,
through
whatever.
different means. But
This
yeah,
it seems like a complete overreaction to me. It's like
yeah,
you had one person do make a mistake, or terrible mistake at that, but still one person do a really awful thing, and now you're going to punish everyone for it. It's
right.
like this is an and I agree with you. It's like, what are they saying about their community? They're just expecting all of the Overwatch players to behave this way, or they know that all the other Overwatch players
Like,
behave this way. Like, come on.
that may not be their rationale, but that's what it seems like sometimes when you look at this kind of stuff. You're like, okay, no more MVP skins. It's like, are you just expecting this kind of thing to happen more? Like, is that the reason why you're doing this? There's probably like a different reason, I'm sure. Like, maybe it is they're just lazy and they don't want to do it anymore. Or maybe it's like a good excuse for them because maybe they just don't make money off of it. So like, oh, well, we can just use this as an excuse. But yeah, it's odd. Like, and I just, I'm not one to necessarily jump to conclusions and say, oh yeah, definitely guilty, 100%. I just want to go through his update for a second. This was his response to this. Again, her thing was that she like was describing this horrible experience from this person, Sinatra, and it was traumatic for her. Okay, so you're reading it and this is her perspective. And it's, you know, you read through and you go, okay, like, this is obviously, this relationship was terrible for you and you're telling us about it. This was difficult for you to write this, so I'm empathizing with you. And obviously you had some things like audio, which audio isn't always the best form of evidence too. I will say that. I don't think it's always that way because you could always tamper with audio. But still, like, it was a traumatic experience for her, and his response was like, it's clear from her recent post that she recalls our relationship differently. What we do agree on is it was unhealthy. I apologize and regret how things ended. I never assaulted her. I'm cooperating. It was just like this very short post, and it's just like, okay, like, I it wasn't the best response in the world at all to say
I
like,
mean,
oh, she recalls it differently than I do. It's just like, oh, okay, that wasn't the best way to respond, but okay. That wouldn't be my first part of the response. It's like, that's not a good idea, for a few reasons, which I don't want to go over. But yeah, I wanted to bring this up because this has been a very serious thing over the past month. Like, this particular event was extremely serious. It affected two communities, and I don't agree with this particular reaction from Activision Blizzard. I don't agree with it. I think it's unfortunate to future MVPs who it just says like a lot of weird things. It sends a lot of weird signals. So anyway, I know you
Yeah.
don't necessarily know a ton about it, Spoon, but if you have anything else you would like
No,
to add, feel free.
I don't. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think it's a knee-jerk reaction, and it's not like I don't know. It's not like Blizzard or Activision Blizzard took a ton of heat for this. It's like no, it's one guy who did a thing, and like I don't know what they're trying to. I guess they're trying to again prevent something like this from happening in the future, where they have to like take back the skin and refund everybody. But is it that like I don't know. Yeah, it just seems like a terrible overreaction
Mm-hmm.
to me. By then, obviously, punish the individual as harshly as you deem, but don't punish the community for an individual's actions.
Yeah, which that's what I don't agree with. It's like okay, you want to get the refund for this person's skin, just remove it. That's totally up to you. But like no other future MVP skins, it's just it sends weird signals, and I don't agree with it personally. So okay, is there any other news that we missed? And for those of you that are curious about this whole thing, gosh, just type Sinatra into a Google search. You'll get it all. If you want to make your own judgments. Just telling you that's what I did. And when I was trying to pull up these articles for the podcast, just type Sinatra into Google and you're going to get a lot. So any other new stuff that I missed when I was looking through this or that you wanted to bring up after the fact?
Nope.
Okay.
I think we got through it all.
Cool. I'm going to switch then. Whee. Okay. So that was all of our news. For those of you that are, interested in all that, I will actually post some of those articles in the Discord because I found these last second. That's the Genshin one. This is the 30xx Steam page if you're curious about the game. I'm trying to find the other one. Oh yeah, the Overwatch League ones. Here's an Overwatch League one that I was looking at. Here's another Overwatch League one. And here's another one. Well, I'm posting it here. I'll post it to Discord afterwards. If I post it to Discord, you're going to lose the video feed. So it's better if I post these here now and then post them to Discord afterwards, so as not to disrupt the video. So, okay. Let me just take a look here at what we've got. Let me see here. I talked a little about the charity event. I can give a little bit more info because I'm looking at the doc here. We've also got your Persona 5 Strikers. Can I talk about Magic Legends too briefly?
Yeah,
because we were talking about that. Okay.
Let's do Magic Legends.
And then we have KH2 rando stuff that we can touch on near the end. So the nice thing too is everybody, I don't have class today, so we'll go for the next hour and try and hit all this stuff. Magic Legends is a game I played yesterday. It's related to the charity event, so maybe we can kill two birds, one stone here. Magic Legends is Wizards of the Coast's attempt at doing something akin to an MMO with Diablo. I understand that's like weird because like, oh well, is Diablo an MMO? Not necessarily. Diablo does have a pretty extensive single player experience, and Diablo 3 in particular didn't feel like much of an MMO. Diablo 2 felt a little bit more like it because you could party up. You're in the like towns, you could see all the other people when you're online, so that felt a little bit more MMO like. But Diablo 3 didn't feel like that for me at least. So Magic Legends is an MMO action styled game. I don't even know if I want to say it's that heavy into the RPG elements. There is a level up system and such, but it feels a little bit more like an MMO when I played it for a couple hours. You can pick planeswalkers from the Magic the Gathering universe. If you're not, if you don't know the Magic the Gathering universe, I would encourage you just to type it in and just go have a look for yourself. But Magic the Gathering planeswalkers are like these named characters that they have like special significance in the world, and you get to play as a planeswalker in this game. So you're already having some significance in the game. You get to play as the 5 different Mana types. I'll just say mana types. There's green, blue, black, white, and red. So I chose the green one. The green character is mostly like big creatures, and there's like regeneration to it. There's like some healing. It's like being one with nature. You can't play as Jace, I will say, but you can play as a blue wizard. That is an archetype you can play as. There are some good things about this game that I played, and Spoon, you watched it, so you can obviously touch on the negatives as well when we get to that. But the good things is I think this game works off of a card system, which I think is great for being something that's Magic the Gathering related. I do think the card and spell system that's in this game is great. When you're in combat and roaming around, you get to use spells, and you have a deck that you pull those different cards and spells from. And it's like you're drawing cards from a deck. It's really good. It's a really good system. Yeah, the planeswalkers are more generic. Yeah, I won't comment on that heavily, but the planeswalkers you play as in this are unnamed. You sort of are the planeswalker, so you put your own character name in and such. Not necessarily like I know there are going to be some people that are going to be like, oh, that's not okay. I want to play as my own planeswalker. I understand it, but that's how the game works. I'm just explaining that. The combat itself's fine. You just point and click movement, point and click attacks. Pretty straightforward. And your character has 2 attacks that are not card related. You just have 2 different like other attacks. The green mana character also has like a companion. It's like an animal companion. So the good thing is the card deck system. And the map itself, I think the graphics look good. The map is okay. I'm trying to think of other things that I thought were okay. Actually, I'm just going to stick with that. I thought
the game looks pretty nice. The spell effects are good.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, game looks nice. Okay. I played 2 hours of it, so I got to level like 4 or 5. I don't remember. And it does have equipment. I only got like 2 pieces of equipment, and they were both like gauntlets or arm guards. So I didn't really get a good experience, I will say. Didn't get the full experience. The negatives of the game. Number 1, let me explain how to get to your inventory. Okay? Do you think it's a hotkey? Not a hotkey. Well, is there an inventory slot? Is there an inventory button? Nope. No inventory button. Well,
is it from the main menu?
Is it from the main menu? No.
Nope.
You have to click the map. And then when you click the map, there's an inventory slide.
Tab.
There's an inventory tab. Thank you. Tab. There's an inventory tab. Why? Why is it not just a hotkey? Just press I. Why is it not a hotkey? Why is it in the map tab? Why? What the system of menus is awful. It's awful. It's actually the worst menu system I've seen in a new game. It's mind-boggling. So that's one bad.
You couldn't figure out how to get to your inventory. And I was watching, and I mean, you probably would have noticed it eventually, but I was watching Otto play this on the charity stream yesterday, and he had his map open. I was like, Otto, there was a loadout tab at the top of the map, and you're like, oh really? And then you clicked it, and we found the inventory because he clicked it.
Because why would I ever think that would be there? I'm just like, oh, that's weird. That's not where I'm gonna look. I mean, I'm glad you found it. Thank God. Because like I never would have found it, and it would have made me upset and quit the game immediately. I don't get why it's in the map. So
not next to the map. Oh, it's in the map. You have to open the map first, and then there's a bunch of tabs at the top that's like map, loadout, and there were a couple others. I don't remember what they were, but
it was dumb.
Like, why?
Why is it there?
Every single game like this that I've ever played, like Diablo, for example, or I don't know, Path of Exile, has a hotkey for all those things. You hit M to open the map. You hit I to open your inventory. You hit like Q to open your quest log.
J for journal.
Yeah, J
skills
for journal.
Is like S or
whatever.
Something.
S. Yeah. Come on. This is basic. This is rudimentary game design for an isometric action RPG like this.
Oh yeah. And that's easily fixable. That is easily fixable, but it's required. You have to have, for one, why are there no, like, I was like pressing all of the keys on my keyboard. I'm like, where are the hotkeys? Like I figured out M, but
none
that
of
was
them
it.
did anything.
Like none of them did, diddly squat. So I'm like, okay, so that's one negative. Next negative, I went to the store. You want to say anything about the store, Spoon, after your drink?
I mean, it's what you expect. There, you can buy almost anything. You can buy XP boosters. You can buy cards. You can buy. Well, I didn't see like I didn't look like you could buy equipment. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
But
you can.
like mostly. Oh, you can buy equipment. All right, cool. You can buy quest reward boosters. You can buy. You could buy just about anything. They are just monetizing this up the wazoo, and it just
Yeah.
looks this game looks, from what I saw of that store, again, Otto, you only played it a couple hours and we've only seen a little bit, and it is beta, so we don't know, but this game looks like it's going to be full on pay to win to
Absolutely.
me.
Which is a shame too. I want to stress my overall experience playing the game was positive. Actually, I do think the game is solid.
Fun.
I do think it's fun. I don't think it's fun to play all day. I will say that. The quests weren't really pulling me at all. I was literally not interested at all in any of the quests. I was like trying to be invested, but I'm like, okay, no. I was like, no, I can't do it. So none of it was bad though. Like none of the quests were bad or anything like that. It's just like this story is not like enthralling at the moment. I'm like chasing somebody and we're also trying to like some shit's happening to the forest. We better protect it. But the merfolk and all this, I'm just like, okay, whatever. Yeah, the store. I've never seen so many things get monetized this early. Wizard of the Coast might be the worst when it comes to monetization.
Ubi's
bad.
Some,
Ubi's bad.
Some games, yeah.
Oh, that's true. Then we'll say Wizards of the Coast is one of the worst. Magic the Gathering Arena, when it was first released, there were only a couple things you could get. You could get basically booster packs and you could play Arena. Those are the only two things that are monetized at first with Magic Arena. And I remember that because I got into one of the betas really early on. If you look at Magic the Gathering Arena now and how much of that thing is monetized, it'll make your eyes pop. You'll absolutely go crazy. You'll be like, cards are like different art for cards, card sleeves, avatars, packs, obviously, arena tickets, pets. It's just like it has to be close to 10 things. There's so many different things. Wizards of the Coast they're monetizing the crap out of this game, Magic Legends, which I'm not excited about. XP boosts are for a game like this. I'm scratching my head on that one. I'm scratching my head. I don't understand why you think that was a good idea. There's like rewards boosts. There is equipment. There's like gear sets that are also, purchasable. I don't understand it. I think it's a really bad idea to monetize this heavily right away. There's also so many different in-game currencies that I was looking at. Like, there's a limit to how much of one of the currencies, Ether. Yeah, Ether. You could only get 50,000 Ether in a given day. And 2 hours into my gameplay session, I accumulated about 11,000. So my guess is, as you get,
you were early on, and you're doing tutorial, and like you weren't making that much progress early on. You were figuring the game out basically. Right.
So that's that's 50,000 is refined. There's also unrefined, which will convert into refined given you have enough for it. And there's like a trading system. There's a marketplace. There's a marketplace type system where you can trade that ether for currencies where you can buy stuff. And the marketplace thing scared the crap out of me. I know, Spoon, we were mentioning, like, oh, there could be a marketplace in this. This isn't good.
Yep, Diablo 3 tried it, and that died within, I don't know, 6 months or something. I don't remember, but they got rid of that real quick because it was a terrible idea.
Yeah, it looks like there's a marketplace in this game, and not a good idea. This is not the game to do that. It's an extremely dangerous thing to do. It also just like, yeah, because I put a trade up, basically, and somebody could trade with me, I guess, but I don't think this is the game to do that in with the system that we had. Like Diablo has trading between person to person, and that's fine. But like, I'm talking about you trade a currency for another, and it looks like a marketplace type system trading. and that was not exciting to see. I don't have much more to say about Magic Legends other than I thought like the gameplay itself, the system that the game runs on, to like go through your quests, your deck system, the movement and all that, like the actual gameplay, I thought was pretty good. But there's all this other
There's a
stuff.
lot of red. There's a lot of red flags
There's some red
coming up
flags in
with this
here.
game.
If the UI gets addressed, which I know it will, I have to like guarantee that that'll get addressed. Otherwise, if people don't complain about it like me, they're psychotic. I'm sorry, I have to say it.
But
If you're
how is the game in beta and they're like the UI is that bad? I don't understand. Like,
I don't know.
do they not have testers that are telling them like, hey, this UI sucks, change
Somebody had to have gone to them and said, "You got to fix this UI." And it's like,
or
"No, we'll do it later." It's like, just do
or
it
if
now.
the UI is gonna be bad, at least let there be hotkeys to get to the
Right.
parts of the bad UI. Like if they want to put the map and the store and the inventory all in one menu, okay, fine, but at least let me press I to open the inventory part of that
Right.
menu whenever I want.
Right. And it's also there's something to say. Maybe we can set. I didn't check if you could set that hotkey in game, but that's not the point. The point is, it should just be preset. It should just be default.
Like, come
Yeah.
on.
So,
That's rudimentary for a game like this. Literally every game that you've played like this
does
has
that.
those hotkeys
Yeah.
like that. Come on.
Just to sort of put it out there to deflect somebody, potentially thinking, oh, but you could set the hotkeys. It's like, yeah, I get it. I know you could probably do that, but the point is, it should be default. I think if they fix the UI, the store stuff is going to stay there. They're not going to get rid of that unless there's huge outcry. They're not going to get rid of that. And I haven't followed any other sources to say what the response has been so far from players in this open beta. But my response is the game itself is fun. All the store and marketplace stuff, I really don't like it. I do want to play more of the open beta. I might I don't know how long it's going to be available for, but maybe this weekend I'll hop in a little bit and play like a couple more hours. But so far, it's pretty okay. It's just pretty okay. I would probably say it's like a 7 out of 10 experience to play the game itself. Maybe like 7.5. Actually playing the game. It's okay. The deck system kind of carries it. I'm hoping with more cards it'll get better. It could get better. But so far, it's like, okay, a couple hours playing this game wasn't the worst. But it wasn't great. It really wasn't like amazing or great. It was like okay. So that's all I want to say about that. If you watched me play it, Spoon, so you can add anything else to what you were seeing. But I don't have much more to say about it.
The gameplay looked solid, but
Mm-hmm.
watching you, I mean, I'm not a huge Magic fan or anything. I played it a little bit when I was a kid, but I'm not super into Magic. So maybe someone who's really into Magic, it would be more up their alley. But
Mm-hmm.
watching you play it was not like, oh, I don't have much interest in it after watching you. I'm like, okay, this looks fine. And if you're a Magic fan, maybe you'll like it. But am I going out, and even though it's free, am I going to go out and download this and play it? No, probably not. It looked fine, but there didn't look anything special about it.
Sure.
Me. And the red flags were all over the place, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not dealing with that.
There are for MTG fans, there are named planeswalkers as NPCs. So again, it's not like you don't meet any other planeswalkers. It's I do think there is some nice flavor on this game. Again, like if you're an MTG fan, that deck system is great. That is unbelievably good as a system. I know it's not the same. I'm trying to give it the benefit of the doubt on certain things. That deck system is really good. Like it literally carried the experience for me. I was like, oh yeah, it feels like I'm playing, MTG. And just in this action, style gameplay. It feels good. I liked it. I didn't like a lot of other things regarding the store and things like that, but the gameplay itself, I kind of was like, okay, this is pretty good. I'll give it a 7.5. And maybe this weekend, after I get more cards, it'll be better. I want to see more about how you could customize those planeswalkers that you play as, but I can't say it's a bad game because it's really not. This isn't a bad game. It's just it's got some flaws. That's for sure. and they need to iron out that UI ASAP. That UI is garbage for like going through the map to get to your inventory. It's what?
Yeah, again, if the UI is gonna stay that way, they need hotkeys, and B, they need tutorials telling you, hey, this is how you access your inventory.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, this is how you access the store. Hey, this is how you access the map.
Mm-hmm.
It's not hard. It's just one pop-up that comes up when you start the game, like, welcome to Magic Legends. Here's how you do these things. Okay, next.
Yeah, there is a tutorial too. The first area is a tutorial about using your spells and things like that. But there's nothing about the your equipment and
Customizing your character
there's nothing else.
or opening the menu.
Yeah. I I don't know if the equipment affects your character look. That's something that I would like to see too. If I get more equipment, obviously. So okay, I've got nothing else to say about Magic Legends. So um, we can sort of move on if you would like to. I don't have anything else though.
Yeah.
It's
Okay. Yeah. I
it's
don't have
okay.
anything else to say about it either.
Yeah, it's okay. Um, let's see here. Do you want to talk about Persona 5 Strikers or how much you've played of that?
Sure. Yeah, I've played. I didn't play too much last week. I played the first couple of days of last week, and then didn't play for a while because I had an exam on Monday, so I was kind of studying over the weekend.
Sure.
And I played a little bit last night. Um, I've played maybe 8 or 9 hours so far, something like that. Close to 10. I don't think
Okay.
quite 10, but I've completed the first like arc of the story or chapter, whatever you want to call. I mean, they're not. It's not specifically broken down into chapters, but I beat the first dungeon and the first boss of the game. The first. They're called jails in this game as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to palaces from
Okay.
Persona 5. So I cleared the first jail, and I am in the second one at this point. I'm like a little bit into the second jail.
Okay.
Um, so the setup for the game is, here's what I'll say off the bat. If you have not played Persona 5 or Persona 5 Royal, do not play this game.
Oh, does it
This
spoil?
it well the this takes place after the events
Okay.
of Persona 5 Royal. The
Okay.
entire gang is together, and it doesn't necessarily spoil the events, at least so far, of the previous games, but there are a lot of characters in the party in Persona 5, and you are given no context as to their personality, their character traits, their relations. You need to have played Persona 5 or Persona 5 Royal in order to understand these characters and the dynamics between the characters in the Phantom Thieves.
Mm-hmm.
So I do not recommend this game to anyone who has not played Persona 5
Okay.
at all, because you are just going to be lost with the some of the lore, the characters, the world setup, etc. Why there's a talking cat, um, you know,
Yeah. There's pieces
yeah,
that you'll miss. You'll have missed.
you're going to be missing a lot if you play this game without playing Royal or yeah,
Sure.
Persona 5 or Royal.
Sure.
You don't need to play Royal. From what I've heard, there's no Royal related content in this game because this game was made, being made at least partially alongside the original game. So I don't think they really had time to add any of the Royal characters or Royal content in
Mm-hmm.
there. So the original Persona 5 would suffice as
Okay.
far as that goes to playing this. But at this point, if you haven't played Persona 5 yet and you want to play Royal because it's way better,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
which is hard to imagine because the original game was amazing, but Royal was actually a big improvement. Anyways, so yeah, I mean, it follows the where the Phantom Themes are back together. We're on summer vacation, and yeah, they're playing in their summer vacation, and then some stuff goes down. We have some new villains who are, yeah, the metaverse is back, and we have villains who are able to use this new like app on their phone called Emma. It's like a chat type app in the game, and the villains somehow use it to like force people into the metaverse and like steal their desires. So the first villain is an idol, an up and coming idol,
Okay.
and she and she's massively popular, but what she's doing is she's basically using the metaverse to force people to love her, and then there's like these men who, break up with their girlfriends or wives because
Oh,
they're in love with
I
Alice, and
see.
they buy all of they go bankrupt because they're buying all of Alice's merchandise,
I
and
see.
et cetera, et cetera. So
Yep.
yeah, she's manipulating people to basically ruin their lives, um, be for her.
Got it.
Um,
So
yeah,
only.
it's
Oh my
it's
God.
it's basically
Oh
OnlyFans.
no. Oh no. Oof. Okay, keep going.
So yeah, that's the basic setup of the story. They don't really explain like how the metaverse is back because spoiler alert, at the end of Persona 5, you kind of like destroy the metaverse or you eliminate it
Wow,
so that
you just completely ruined it for me.
yeah, I know I did. Um,
Keep going. Sorry.
you're never gonna finish.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you were gonna
Um,
say something like that. Oh, try it.
I mean, that doesn't really spoil much, I'll be honest. The fact that, you know, both both.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it
Mm-hmm.
happens in both versions. Um, anyways, so um, where was I going with this? Yeah, that's the basic setup of the story, and I won't spoil any more than that.
Mm-hmm.
It's summer vacation. You're dealing with this, and there's a couple of new characters that they introduce. And yeah, and the combat is this game is made by Koei Tecmo or Tecmo. Yeah, yeah. It's the Muso or Dynasty Warriors developer who made this game. Um, and the combat is very similar to those games where you have your basic combos with the square button, and then you have your specials where you can like hit square triangle, square square triangle, and you have your different special like chains off of your basic attack combo. Um, and you can also use your persona skills by holding R1, and then you get a list of skills. It freezes time, and then it'll show you what the enemies are weak to, and you can use your mana to use skills and hit weaknesses, and then do all out attacks and persona things. They did a cool job of like melding Dynasty Warriors combat
Mm-hmm.
with persona combat, the tactical turn-based nature of persona combat with the very fast-paced action Dynasty Warriors type combat.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I have some gripes with the combat. Um, when it doesn't go well, it's very frustrating. You just get wombo comboed and it doesn't feel like you can do anything. When you take a hit, you take a lot of damage, and certain like big enemies, mini bosses, when they hit you, you just get hit like 3 or 4 times in a row and you lose 90% of your health. And you're like, well, okay, that was fun.
Hmm.
Uh, Now it's party based, so you can have 4 people in your party at the same time, and you can swap between them at will, basically. So that's cool. Um, but the problem with that is sometimes the AI decides to run it down, and when the boss is doing their big attack, like the first boss has this attack where she like spins on a pole in the middle and does a bunch of damage around her, and your allies just run at her and get hit and die.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fun. Um, and yeah, the other problem really is that I don't know. I just find the bigger enemies, the mini bosses and the bosses, just kind of frustrating to fight because
Mm-hmm.
you can't really attack them with your basic attacks because they don't stagger and it doesn't do any damage.
Right.
The only way to really hurt them is to spend mana and hit weaknesses, and then you can once when you they have these like shields under their
Mm-hmm.
health bar, and when you hit their weaknesses you break the shields, and then you can do like a follow-up attack after you break one, and once you break all of them you do an all-out attack which does a ton of damage.
Mm-hmm.
But the in-between and using characters that like can't hit weaknesses against a boss is just annoying and frustrating, and I wish there were more opportunities to basic attack and do combos on the bosses as opposed to just like spamming spells. And early on in the game, you don't have a lot of resources for restoring your SP, so you just kind of run out and you're hosed. There's not a lot of revival items, so if someone goes down, you're just kind of hosed and you can't get them back up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I don't know. I mean, overall, it's fun, but again, when I encounter a difficult or challenging, a challenging enemy, I find myself a little bit frustrated. I just don't think it works super well.
Mm.
Um,
Could be early game woes. Maybe it's something that gets fixed, at least
yeah,
for when you play, as you progress through. How many hours did you say? 5 or 10? 15?
like close to 10, like 8
Okay.
or 9.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it gets better later. Maybe it gets better later. But even so, like in that type of game, like a Dynasty War style game, yeah, getting bullied is really not good.
It's not
Getting
fun.
bullied is not fun, right? Um, but I don't know. Maybe I don't really have much perspective, but maybe it gets better given more progression. Who knows? But other like, I assume the music in the game is good.
Yeah, they did a lot of remixes of the older tracks for this game, and there's probably some just straight up ports, I suppose,
Sure, they just
of
use the
the
music from
yeah,
it.
just
Yeah,
use the music from the
yeah,
originals.
right.
Yeah, the music's good. It looks exactly like Persona does, which is cool.
Okay.
They got all the voice actors back to do this one
Yeah,
for
I mean, I'd
for
imagine.
this game.
Yeah,
So
I'd
yeah, like
imagine
the
they would.
production value is top notch, what you'd expect from the Persona series. And yeah, in terms of like the way it progresses outside of like the jails and combat, there's not a lot to it. It's very linear as
Hmm.
opposed to Persona, where like you can walk around the cities a little bit. This one you go outside of Tokyo. So the first jail takes place in Tokyo,
Hmm.
but then you go on a road trip and you go to different cities in
Yeah,
Japan.
it's summer. It's summer break. You're going on a road
I'm in
trip.
the second one, so
Yeah.
um, we get to see some new locations in Japan, which is cool, I guess. Obviously, if you've been to Japan or live in Japan, it would resonate a little more because I'm sure they are
Yeah.
using real places that exist.
Oh yeah,
But
of course.
I've not been there, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and there's no confidants. They have this like Bond EXP thing that I guess is supposed to represent somewhat along the lines of confidants, but it's very linear. It just goes up as you progress the story. It goes up for completing battles and
Yeah,
doing
sure.
certain events in the game and talking to people. So yeah, there's not the day to day like life of Persona where you get your free time and you can up your social skills or do confidants or anything like that. So it's very linear as opposed to, I mean, Persona is linear, but there's a lot of like free time and free roam in between
Sure.
the
Yeah.
linear story sections in Persona. So
Sure.
that's all out. It's just yeah,
I see.
very linear in terms of that progression. And I guess the other thing I'll say about the gameplay is in the jails there are these there's checkpoints throughout them, obviously, where you can save, and then you're allowed to like leave the jail to restore your health. But what I don't understand is okay, I've ran into a situation where it didn't let me leave the jail from a checkpoint in the latest dungeon,
Mm-hmm.
but for the most part, I'm just questioning, like, why are you making me leave the jail to restore my health? Why can't I just restore my health at the checkpoint? It just feels like an unnecessary step. It's like
Wait.
if I can leave the jail and restore my health and my mana SP from any checkpoint for the most part. Again, there
Right.
was a situation where I encountered where I wasn't allowed to do it. Why doesn't the checkpoint just restore my health and NSP? Why do you make me go through the rigmarole of like leaving the jail, going through a loading screen, and then going back in, going through another loading
Yeah,
screen, and
because
going back to the checkpoint that I was at?
you're just gonna go to the checkpoint. Okay. I mean, it does. No, that doesn't make sense. But It is the way it is, but that doesn't make sense. You might as well just have it be like once you hit the checkpoint, just let you use healing and stuff. That makes no sense. But nobody thought to speak up, or they just didn't feel like fixing it. So there you go. they
Or
they're
they
like
just
we
wanted to, it's like, oh, if you wanna heal yourself, we're gonna make you sit through loading, like be
but that's
annoyed
but
and
that's
sit through
dumb.
loading
Yeah,
screens.
that's dumb.
I agree with you.
Yeah, but that's like
It's
that's
like,
not even like a good rationale at that point.
no, it's not at all.
It's terrible. Yeah.
Um,
Okay. Okay.
so yeah, I mean, overall, the game is fun. I have my gripes with it. There are a few frustrating things as far as the bosses go and the way the systems work, and getting wombo comboed. So I it's a cool like idea, and
Mm-hmm.
again, I think they did a pretty good job of melding the two games together into one basically, but I don't think everything works, I guess is my point. But overall it's fun.
Okay.
I think it's cool. If you're a fan of Persona 5 and you've completed Persona 5, I can say it's probably worth your time
Okay.
to pick this up. Um, yeah, because it is also a, I mean, it's kind of a new story, but it is a bit of a, it's kind of a sequel. It's a continuation of the
I
story.
see. Okay.
Um,
So yeah, if you wanted to continue the story, you'd probably want to pick this up
yeah, you want to
just
see.
just to get this through this the extra story.
Yep.
Okay. Very cool. So only 10 hours in. I mean, it's obviously not going to be. I would imagine it's not going to be as long as
No,
actual Persona 5 Royal.
I've heard it's about 40 or so.
Okay, so
So
40
that's what
hours.
I've heard.
That's
So
pretty long for a game like that, in my
yeah, for a game
opinion.
like that, yeah,
That's pretty long. So the biggest issue with games like that is the combat. It at least from my experience gets so repetitive. 40 hours, man. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see
it's
how
not
you
most
feel.
like there. It's paced more like Persona though. There was a lot of just cutscenes and dialogue between the characters and like figuring stuff out. It's not like
Okay.
a lot of other Dynasty Warriors games where most of what you do is just mission, 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 combat,
Yeah.
combat, combat. There's a lot of in between, which
Yeah.
if you're used to Persona, you don't mind it. But if you're just a Dynasty Warriors fan and not a Persona fan, I'm not sure I would recommend this.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
as I said, if you haven't played Persona 5, I wouldn't recommend it because you wouldn't understand what's going on in the story.
Right. Right.
But
Right. Right. Okay. Cool. 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 Okay. So, any other stuff? Otherwise, we can shift
nope,
gears
I think
to.
that's all I have to say about
Okay.
Strikers for now.
Okay. So, like I said, I don't have class, so we can go for another like 15 or so minutes before we end. But you do want to touch on KH Rando a bit? You told me off podcast that your next match is set up. Do you want to talk about your next match, when it is, and all
Yeah.
that?
The next match for the Rando tournament is Saturday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. This is a loser's bracket match, so if I lose, I'm out of the tournament. If I win, I continue on in the
Mm-hmm.
loser's bracket. So winner go home at this point. I'm playing a very very good player. I mean, it's top 8. Everyone's good. But yeah, Jared Weak Strike is his tag.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean he's a really solid player. If I think I've said this about just about every match I've played, but he likes to play go mode a lot. So if I get a go mode seed, I will almost certainly lose. Um,
Okay.
but
Well,
that's okay. Um,
hopefully
but
you
yeah,
don't.
I mean we'll see how it goes. I'll be definitely playing some rando this week. I mean I'll be doing it on the charity, but I'll probably be doing it some more on my stream as well.
Okay.
There's actually a match going on right now in the tournament in top 8.
Oh, I see.
Um, so that's cool. And then I think Dodge's match is on Friday. I want to say I don't know what time. He
Yep.
didn't tell me. Um,
Sometime Friday though.
and Dodge is also participating in a. They're having a Kingdom Hearts series relay on Saturday, I think.
Yeah, I saw
Um,
this. Yeah, he had it on his like Twitch channel, and I saw it in his title a few times.
yeah, they've been planning it for a while, but they're I don't exactly know what the schedule is, but I'm assuming they're doing it's 2 teams, one player for each game basically, and they're gonna do basically speed runs of every. I don't know about every single game, but most of the
I
games.
see.
And it's a relay race between the 2 teams. So Dodge is doing, as expected, 2FM beginner, which is what he and I used to run.
I see.
Um, so yeah, he's been brushing up on that while at the same time still getting ready for Rando.
Dude, yeah.
Um,
It's tough.
so yeah,
Get it, bro.
that's on Saturday. That'll
Okay.
be fun, I suppose, if you like Kingdom Hearts speedruns.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I don't
Okay.
think I have much else to say about Rando since we haven't had another match.
Yeah, sure. Understandable. Understandable.
The Yeah, not
Just for
about
mentioning it.
Rando,
Yeah.
but the PC versions do come out next week on
That's right.
Tuesday,
That's
the
right.
30th.
Epic Game
So,
Store PC
yep,
versions. That way, all the KH people can buy it again and see how
yep,
it goes on PC. See if there's
yep,
anything different. I think that's basically what's going to happen. Is
pretty
the
much.
the runners are going to be like, is it different? Is it different? Should we be running it here instead? Um, Auto playing KH3 again? No. What
No, I don't.
I
I
played
don't think
it.
so.
Kingdom Hearts is a series I don't feel the need to play again. I'm going to be honest. I have I've gotten what I wanted out of it, and it's fine. It's a good series. I enjoy
Yeah,
it.
gameplay's fun.
I enjoyed it. I like the Disney stuff. I really do like the Disney stuff, and KH3's Disney stuff was mediocre to say the least. Um, but no, I'm not playing K. I'm not going to buy the PC versions of Kingdom Hearts. That's a no for me. But if people want to, I mean, it's totally fine. If you like it, go for it. But that's not what I'm about. I gotta get 30XX. I'm focused on that. I'm focused on my new Mega Man stuff. So it's so nice. Someone appreciates that series like I do, and that's what makes me happy. Um, have I finished Valhalla? No.
You dropped
Do
it.
you know what I
You
did? I
dropped it.
uninstalled the game. No,
Oh
no, no,
wow.
no, 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 no. This is all good for me. I felt the itch to play it again. That's a good sign.
Oh really?
Usually, usually what happens is I uninstall certain games that I play for a while, like Valhalla, and don't finish. I go, you know what? I'm gonna get bored, so I'm gonna uninstall it, and then about a couple
Take a
months
break.
later, I'll reinstall it and finish it and feel better about it. When I with my initial playthrough, I'll feel like okay, this is what happens: is it gets too much of the same, and when it becomes too much of the same, I get bored and I go, okay, this is I don't need more of this for a while. I need to switch things up. It's my issue with JRPGs, actually, if I'm being honest. JRPGs are too much of the same coming at me for about 40 hours plus, and I go, yeah, I need to take a break from it. I need a break. It's too much of the same old combat or whatever else it is. Not the story. The story's different,
Yeah,
obviously.
the story is what's supposed to keep you going with JRPGs because yeah, of course, the combat's repetitive. There's one
It's,
combat system and you play it over and over and over and over and over again.
I mean, I get memed a lot for ignoring story, but the story is not the first thing I think of when I play a game, to be honest. If
Fair
the
enough.
if the gameplay is continually repetitive, I need a break. Otherwise, I get bored. I do. I really get bored. It's the reason why I like games that are shorter than 40 hours, even with story and everything put in, because it's not like okay, it's a lot of the same all the time. But if you hand me a 70-hour game and say finish this, go ahead, and it's more of the same for 40 hours, and then I get to that 40 to 50 hour mark, I'm out. It's too much. It is too much. The number of games that are longer than 40 hours just for main story that I've played is probably could probably be shown on my single hand.
I'm trying to think of any and I can't think of any right now, but
It's not that many. Um
'cause I don't think any of the Tales games you've played were longer than 40, at least for you.
Zillia
Was
1 and
maybe
2 are
close. It's probably
close.
close around 40, but
It's
maybe.
close. I don't do that. It's too much of the same. It's too much of the same. The story's different, but everything else is the same, and I'm like, okay, I need a break. It's too much. It's too much right now. The only exception to that rule is like multiplayer games. Multiplayer games are things that I do quite a bit, more than that. But
Yeah, it's
yeah,
different because it's
it feels
competitive.
different. Yeah, Genshin's been my one where I'm like, yeah, I can log in for like 30 minutes today and feel like I've gotten enough out of it. That's it, but that's all I need.
I think the thing with Genshin though is like there's no end point, right?
Yeah, so
So
you're
you're
just
not
like
like
whatever.
you're not gonna quote unquote finish it ever. So
Mm,
okay, we're just gonna log in every day and play for 30 minutes
right.
or an hour or whatever and be
Yeah,
done, and that's
but
fine.
yeah, back to Valhalla. I put like 50 hours in so far. I was actually progressing the story pretty far. I really did progress it far. Like I was further than Brea in my story, and I have half as many hours. So I was going in on the story. I just didn't do any of the Asgard stuff yet, but I was going in on the story. But yeah, AC Valhalla's it's a good solid game. It's just it was too much of the same, and I was ready for a break.
Yep.
And it was a good break to take because now I'm like, oh, I should play that again, and that's a good sign. Typically, that's a good sign. When Skyrim came out, all I remember is like, no, Oblivion. When Oblivion came out, and I loved that game, I played Oblivion for a while, stopped playing it for a long time, like not just a couple months, like a full year. Stopped playing Oblivion for a full year, and then I ended up finishing it and really liking it. That's super normal for me, especially with games that I think could be long. So, you know what else is long? Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League. That
Did you
dude,
watch it?
yes, I did. That dude went in on that movie. It's a good movie, by the way. Um, he not oh my god, I'm not gonna say that. The yeah no the Justice League movie was I was surprised. I will do a movie night of that actually. I think I'll watch it again. I would be willing to do a movie night if people wanted to watch it. 6 hour cut of Endgame? No, I'd be out immediately. The
Dude, okay, do you have Endgame?
I do. Have you not
Okay,
seen it?
I haven't seen it.
We're
I
movie.
actually
Yeah,
have.
we're doing it.
Yeah, we're
We're
movie
doing it.
nighting that
We're
one.
movie nighting it.
I
Yeah,
actually
we're movie nighting
haven't
it.
seen
We're
Endgame.
movie nighting it.
I
Did you
never
did you see Infinity War at
I
least?
saw Infinity
Okay.
War. I did see
Maybe we'll
Infinity.
movie night those two
I haven't
movies.
seen it. I actually
Yeah,
haven't seen Endgame.
let's movie night them both because you don't want to just watch. You want to watch
Yeah,
both kind
no,
of
I'll
together.
watch Infinity War. Like
We'll like do
Infinity
one and
War,
the other.
I did watch, and man, people loved that movie, and I was like, it was okay. It
To
was
be
fine.
honest, it's the better of the two too. I liked Infinity War better than Endgame. It's the
Really?
better of the two for me, at least. Endgame's like trying to think if I should say it. Do I? The question is, do I care? Yeah, I'm just gonna say, it. Endgame is an orgasm for the comic folks and for all the people that have been involved in all the movies. It's just a massive climax.
It's just the climax,
It's
dude.
and it's not like just climax because it's the end, but like it's a climax. Like I'm fairly certain in the theater, I heard some people moaning and going crazy, and I was like, okay, you gotta calm you over there. You calm down. You calm down,
Bro, slow your roll, bud.
guy. We got like 2 more hours of this. You gotta slow down. Um, that's what it is. Infinity War actually, I like that one better. I do think that was a better one than Endgame. Infinity War had a lot of just like solid moments in there, and it was nice to at the end of Infinity War you saw it. It was nice to see them actually just like lose, and the curiosity of Endgame was like, well, what do they do now? And that was that's the appeal of Infinity War. It's just like, wow, they just lost. What do you do? What do you do? We'll do the movie night of that. I also want a movie night Zack Snyder's Justice League. If anybody saw it, which I'm sure none of you did, if you did, I'd be shocked. Um,
I've seen Justice League. I've seen the
oh,
original one, the theatrical version.
I hope you're okay. That movie was just like
I,
mediocre.
yeah, exactly. Like I didn't hate it. Like it
It was
was
just
whatever.
mediocre. Okay,
It's there.
so that movie's mediocre.
That game movie
So
exists.
here's that one, and the Snyder one is up here. It's a pretty significant jump up.
Even though it's 4 hours, like you weren't bored, even though it was 4 hours.
I counted as 3.5. The last 30 minutes, I watched it and I was like, why is this Zach? Why'd you put this in here? It's like
Oh, so
Zach, what are
like
you doing?
the last 20 minutes of
Yeah.
Return of the King, it's like
So
stop.
I think it was Batman v Superman had this, not Justice League, but Batman v Superman had a dream sequence where Batman's like in this weird dystopian future, and it's like it looks like he's in like a desert and he's attacking people. So it's another dream sequence with Batman. And I'm not going to spoil it or anything, but to be honest, you can just skip it and you'll miss nothing. It's just like Zack Snyder being like, here's all the things I was going to do with this series if I had more creative control. And it's me laughing because I'm like, yeah, but the folks at the studios aren't going to let you because the DC universe is just like they're not going to let you do what you want, Zach. The DC universe already failed. You're just now you're just trying to like stroke in front of the screen and expect us to watch it.
And it's gone.
I was like, yeah. Sometimes with Zack Snyder, you're just like, all right, dude, put your pants on, like, calm down. He really likes superheroes, not as humans. I will say that. Marvel likes to make their superheroes more human. Zack Snyder likes his superheroes to be just godly, like untouchable beings that
so
are above everything else.
Everyone is Superman.
Yeah, that's Snyder's thing. Snyder's thing is like, oh yeah, everybody's amazing and like they have no weaknesses. They're not human.
Batman is not that, by the way. Batman is not
which
that.
Which is why Zack Snyder Batman's still pretty good in the movie, but it's not 4 hours. It's like 3.5. You just skip the last 30 minutes. Once you get to he does like these things with chapters. Once you get to the chapter that says epilogue, you skip it. You actually already saw the end before that. You just skip the epilogue part, and it's like a 3 hour and 20 or 30 minute movie. It's very much better though. You remember Cyborg from Justice League? You remember him? How much do you remember of his character? What's his name? What's his real name? You remember that? No, you don't. Of course not. Of course not.
I watched the movie once, and I don't like. I'm not a huge comic book fan or anything.
Of course you don't. No, of course you don't know it because they spent like 5 minutes developing him in that. They're like, "This is Cyborg." Okay, what else? What else is there about him? That's it. Moving on. Let's make a joke.
He's Cyborg. He's black.
This movie did two things really well. They developed Cyborg. Cyborg is Victor Stone in this, by the way. They actually like say his name several times, which I'm like, thank you for doing this. He's actually like one of the biggest characters in this movie, if not the most important character, which is crazy to me. He might be the most important character. And then they did a better job with like Flash. They gave more story to Flash, which is nice too. They did like two really good things. Those are two really good things. I think it's a very good movie. Really. I think it's like an 8 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10 movie. The reason why it's not higher...
Whereas the original's what, like a 5?
It's like a 5 or a 6.
Yeah.
They made the villain in this one just better. Like Steppenwolf in the other one was like, I'm Dr. Meanbad. Fear me. He's boring. You don't remember anything about him, really. In this one, they gave the villain's story arc, like what his motivation is and everything. They did a little bit of a better job. It's not perfect, but it's better. And it made more sense. The 3 boxes thing made more sense. They like made it all okay, this all makes more sense to me. Thank you for elaborating on this. Thank you for not just like throwing it onto my table and saying, here, do you get it now? And I don't know. I don't get it. And then just moving forward, like they spent more time with it. It was better. I would movie night it. It's 3 hours and 20 minutes or so, but if you can watch Lord of the Rings Return of the King, you can probably handle this.
Oh yeah.
It's good though. It really is. It's a good movie. I would say you don't even have to necessarily be a comic book fan. I think it's worth it. I think they did a really good job with the characters. And I liked it a lot, actually. I was surprised how much I liked it. I thought I was gonna like stop watching and be like, well, that was 4 hours of the same, but it wasn't. The only issue is the last 40 minutes of Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder, I swear to God, I don't know why he thought this was a good idea. Basically, let me sum it up for you. Well, what happens is it cuts to Zack Snyder, and he's sitting in his chair. He stands up. He takes his pants off, and you're like thinking, what's he gonna do now? He just starts going. And you're like, Zack, I don't need to see this. That's basically the last 40 minutes, is Zack Snyder just taking his pants off in front of you and just being like, see what I can do? It's like, okay, yeah, you can do it. You can do it, Zack. Thank you. It's a Batman dream sequence. I swear to God, it's that long. It's Batman dream sequence. It's Batman waking up and like meeting a character, which is kind of a spoiler, so I'm not going to say it. And there's like, that's it. And that's 40 minutes. That's 30 to 40 minutes. Oh, there's one other thing. There's like Lex Luthor and Deathstroke, and they like have a conversation. The original Justice League had like an end of credits scene where they both talked, but in this one, it's a slightly different conversation. It's 40 minutes of Zack Snyder taking his pants off in front of you, and just he's stroking. And you're like, okay, Zack, you can do it. I understand you can, but I understand that this was your baby, and now that you've had your way, you want to show me this. But I have to be honest with you, Zack. I don't care.
I don't need to see it.
I don't need to see it, and I don't care. This didn't need to be 40 minutes. The dream sequence, I shit you not, is like 20 freaking minutes or something. It's so long, and you're just like, Zack, this could have been 5 minutes, and you would have accomplished the same thing. No, and then he had to do the thing where he's like, look, it's Joker. It's like, okay, Zack, we know this character. Stop. It's like, did you see Joker, though? It's like, yes, I saw that he had a conversation with Batman about something. Thank you. Thanks. It's just, yeah, that's it. I think it's a good movie, though. I think we should watch it. We should do a movie night of that and Infinity War and Endgame. Those would be the movies. And hopefully we can do that soon. I want to do that soon. Because, yeah, Justice League is a good movie. If you've watched comic book movies and you enjoyed them, you'll enjoy this. Because it's an actual movie. Like, I had feelings watching it. It was actually crazy watching a Zack Snyder film and having feelings. And it not being the dumb Batman, Superman, our moms have the same name sequence type stupidity. Like, things weren't stupid like that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, good. But the whole
Batman vs Superman, yeah.
Batman vs Superman, our moms have the same name, therefore we should be best buddies, is like easily the dumbest thing in movie history. It might be the dumbest thing in movie history that you'll ever hear. No. There's like 3 DC movies that are good. First, Wonder Woman, not the second one. You can go ahead and safely ignore the second one. The Shazam is funny. It's like I think it's a funny movie. It's pretty good, and this one's good. Justice League is this Zack Snyder one's good. Oh my god. Again, this one's not. It's like there's not as much like dumb humor because it's not Joss Whedon. There is some humor though in this one. There's a couple bits of humor, but it's not as much because it's Zack Snyder doesn't know what humor is. He tried to look it up in a dictionary and he ended up landing on like something else. And that spot actually was just plastered with like comic
his humor
stuff.
Is him taking his pants off and doing his business.
That's his thing. That's Zack Snyder's thing. He's like, okay, you've watched this movie, right? Yes, I have, Zack. Thank you. Why are you taking your pants off? Why are you doing that? Don't do that. So yeah.
All right. Well, on that note,
I hope everybody enjoyed that.
Yeah.
That vision is now in your head. You're welcome.
I also want to mention real quick, those of you who are here or watch Auto Xenoblade playthrough, that's happening on your channel tomorrow, right?
Yes, it is.
For the charity.
Yep. Okay. Yep. Xenoblade will be tomorrow morning. It's from 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock. After that, Ian's going to play Sekiro. By the way, I highly encourage everyone to watch Ian's Sekiro playthrough. There's like a couple different rewards. If you want to donate a bit more to that to get those rewards going, it's amazing, actually. Like Ian's going to be great. He's a good guy. You guys should check it out. I know that like Ghost, likes and plays Sekiro. It'll be fun, dude. And Ian's he's a good egg. He's a good egg. Okay. Wait, I just saw this. Podcast overtime for Otto to take his pants off and stand up. You're right. Let's do this. Go ahead. Let's hit the end button. And, and that's what I'm going to show you what Zack Snyder did. Let's just show you what Zack Snyder did. So, okay. But seriously, let's is there anything else you want to touch on before we end it? Because I don't have class, so I'm just hanging out. Okay.
Yeah, we're good. We're probably going to have dinner soon. So
then let's conclude here. I know you're going to eat dinner. Don't report the channel. We didn't say anything bad. We didn't say naughty words like the V word or the SI letter word. I won't say anymore because we'll get banned for that. But if you like what we're talking about, if you're confused at what the hell I'm talking about, you should stick around. You should stick around and you should like some of our videos and follow. That way you could be even more confused. If you think that our takes are terrible, you should let us know. Tricourage
Yep.
does that occasionally. You should let us know. And if there's, any interest in subscribing to our YouTube, you should do that. If you're interested in checking out the charity stream that I'm doing, that'll be happening tomorrow and Friday as well. Spoon will be there too. He'll be doing a KH Rando run. If you
Yep.
want to watch movies with us and be in our Discord while we watch movies, you're welcome to do that. If you want to
The
join,
chat. You want to join whatever
if
is
you want
going
to
on
join,
in chat right now?
if you'd like to join the chat and talk about my OnlyFans, where you see my over and limit, you're welcome to do that. If you, if you're interested in any of that, movie night, we should do movie night though. Maybe next week, maybe the week after, we'll watch Infinity War, and then we'll watch Endgame. Probably the next week. We won't watch both back to back. Obviously, that's too long. And then after that, we can watch Zack Snyder's Justice League and Pants Off Dance. And I think we'll really enjoy that. It is a good movie. Like I joke about the whole the end sequence, but it's a good movie. It's a very good movie. I enjoyed it a lot.
What has been the last 10 minutes of this episode?
The last 10 minutes has been something truly special. I feel like all of us have bonded and become closer, and we've shared things with each other.
It's about the friends we made along the way.
That's what it is. It's about friendship, and that's how it circles all back to JRPGs. It's all about friendship when you think about it.
That's what it's about.
It's the power of friendship. Okay. We should probably end before I say something really dumb. So, well, thanks for coming by, everybody. If you're on our YouTube and you're wondering what's going on, me too, because I'm thinking I'm a little tired and confused right now.
Yep.
So, this is the Zack Snyder Pants Off podcast, and we'll see you guys hopefully next week, or I'll see you tomorrow during my Xenoblade.
Don't
playthrough.
unfollow or unsubscribe, please.
Please don't unfollow or unsubscribe or dislike a video because of what I just said over the last 15 minutes with Spoon. Thanks. We should leave. Goodbye.
Guys.
Say bye. Bye.